So, damn. I want to talk about this NBA Finals. That's what I want to talk about. Because, dude, this is a roller coaster of emotions.
I was going to say, how can anything be whack at the moment, to be honest, because I'm still floating. I feel like I'm on a never-ending surf of just championship glory right now. And, it's just like I've seen them win 6 championships. I've seen my favorite team of my favorite sport. No disrespect to the Vikings, obviously. They're right up there, but it's my favorite sport. So
they'll understand, I'm sure.
yeah, to see them win 6 championships, I obviously was around in 1988 when they beat Detroit and won that championship. They won in 87, but that would have been in June. I was born in September. And they won in 88. We're the first team to repeat in quite some time. And so I was around.
You don't remember 88, do you?
I was around for it.
Oh, okay.
But, all right. With my eyes, it's not like I could comprehend it. And
maybe if you got hypnotized, as they say, then maybe it would the memories would come back in your subconscious.
Used to get hypnotized, but it's yeah. So you don't take it for granted. I've seen them in the finals 8 times, won 6 of them, and it's absolutely incredible. It's I don't know. I feel so as much heartbreak as the Vikings have caused, a lifetime worth. It's like the Lakers to see them win 6, and you just can't say enough.
You really can't. Do you feel like this is? I feel like this is a lot different than any other championship I've seen. Just with COVID and the passing of Kobe, this one felt just different. Not necessarily heavier, but meaned more. It just felt different. It just felt like the meaning was different. There were different undertones. Yeah. I don't know. Do you feel that?
No, you're totally right, because almost to some weird degree, it was wait, am I lacking a connectability issue here? A connective tissue to what was happening? Because what people who are new to watching basketball, like Molly, she started watching basketball when we started dating, so 6 years ago almost, and so all she's ever known is the Lakers haven't been this
wow.
this franchise,
that's
this
so
dominant
true
franchise, and she's just known them to be missing the playoffs and getting high first round picks and drafting the wrong people.
It's a long era. That was a way too long.
And so to see the Lakers like this, that's all she's known. That's all people have really known. If you just got into basketball within the last 5 or 6 years, you've just known the Lakers to be yeah, I've heard stories of them, I've seen old highlights of them. They're well known for being one of the greatest franchises in sports, but you don't feel it. And so that's one thing that takes away from this championship just slightly. It's nobody's fault, obviously, it's the pandemic, but is that I feel like you guys who are new to basketball, seeing the Lakers good for the first time, were shortchanged. And even people who aren't, like myself and everybody else, Laker Nation, I think you were shortchanged in seeing the emotion of the crowd and just the sheer
true.
joy and elation that it causes, that it gives off, and so you're missing that energy, and so it's kind of short a little bit. They're in an empty gym. I mean, their family was there and stuff, some of them, but it wasn't how it should be, and so therefore I feel there may have been people who didn't connect with it as much. I sure as hell did. Shoot.
Right.
I mean, if you're a
that doesn't stop us.
I understand, still it felt different for sure. It was just different all the way around. And it was just, I don't know, you have to, the Lakers, this is what did the Clippers in their lack of chemistry. The Lakers had chemistry. You could tell on the court, and you have to have chemistry to stay in a bubble, a place where you can't leave, and you're around the same guys for 3 months.
For real.
So
that's a survival tactic almost, to have the chemistry. Otherwise you're, everything's off, and then your performance is going to be off.
Oh yeah. So like there were some critics being like, this is just, I don't know if I said this last time, but this is just glorified pickup basketball. It's like, you don't have to travel. You don't have to go through those rigors, like everything like that. And it's like, that's true. But what also is true, because two things can be true at the same time, is that no one's ever had their season abruptly stopped in March, and then have to pick up on the fly in July when our country was at a crossroads. Here's this disease, and like to make it up as you go on the fly. And you don't have your family and you're isolated and stuff like that. Everyone will say, dude, they're at Disney World. They're at a resort. Like,
who said? Yeah, it's like, how can you say
that? It's they're fine. Blah blah blah. It's still,
they get paid millions. That's always one.
I think it takes a toll, and no one's ever had to do it. So like, they don't know if it's easy or not.
Oh, for real. And I would gander that it's not, because they're still going through all the protocols and worries of COVID that everyone else is, but they're also trying to focus on winning a championship and doing their job. They're also trying to focus on, as you said, keeping that chemistry so they can really do their job and, the best way possible and keep their spirits up when all of this craziness is going on. It just like, it's got to be hard.
So just to go back with them being stuck at Disney World and everyone saying, oh, well, you get to stay at Disney World for so long. These players are millionaires. Their homes are probably nicer than the resorts that they're staying at.
That's so
and
true.
Most of them didn't bring family. And the ones that did, they were limited to how much family they could bring. It's easy for us as, common people who don't have millions of dollars to be like, wow, I'll go stay at Disneyland or Disney World for months on end. Sure, that sounds wonderful. But if I have a mansion and a family and all the money in the world, like my house is probably nicer. Like I want to be home.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And I think it just goes along with saying again that like, people called it a glorified AAU tournament. And so, it's kind of a point though. Like you're at Disney World with these people and it's all basketball. So, but some people say like, yeah, well, you don't have to like deal with the distractions of people.
But then at the same point, people can be a distraction, like the audience, but they can also fire you up and give you energy. So you're also having that disadvantage. You're having, so it evens out. To me,
detractors will say too is like, oh man, you think they would have just won 4-1 like that, like having to play in Denver and like that altitude and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, they always with the altitude.
I also think that plays a big role into why in the bubble and then in the playoffs, so many of our younger players, like some of the guys that are like in their first, second, third year, I think that's why they did so well, not to take away from their pure talent that they have, but that they did so well because they're not used to playing in such large crowds that they don't know how yet to thrive off that energy. So instead, sometimes I think that takes away from their game. So that's why they were able to thrive, where some of our veterans almost look like they were veterans to a sense because they know how to thrive off that and they were missing the crowd.
Yeah, that's what they're used to.
That's a good point. Again, you don't realize how much of an impact that crowd has, probably till it's gone for sure, but also like until you've really experienced it as a player.
Absolutely.
And for that amount of people, yeah, that's gotta be wild. I can't imagine.
But it's gotta be wild. And another thing I think the Lakers had to play with was they had to play with the mindset of like, we're trying to win this for Kobe.
Yes, which is huge pressure. And the whole city of LA needed that, especially now. And I felt like LeBron felt that on his shoulders. Did you? Or
I definitely
he mentioned it a lot, right? Like in his post interviews.
So that game 5 on a Friday night.
Yeah, take us back, Jacob, to how you felt after game 5. I think it was on a Friday of the Laker finals game. As a Laker fan,
Yeah,
that was 2 weeks ago, I think. 1 week ago?
That was just last Friday.
That was last Friday.
It was last Friday? Yeah.
And he?
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
How long this week's felt,
Damn, it's long.
But okay, so last Friday, holy hell. It was one of those games we did not play well at all. Wasn't sure if we were ready for the moment. But yet at the same time, like, we never let Miami. I mean, I know we're down by like, I think 11 or 13 at most. I may be wrong about that. I'm sure someone out there will fact check me.
Fact check up.
Like today,
Molly.
the last time, hyperbolic chamber. And it's actually a hyperbaric chamber. So apologize for being dumb on episode 1. It was kind of late at night and, some people are tired, but anywho.
Yeah, what reason?
Yeah, so last Friday we did not play well at all. Was wondering if we were not ready for the moment. We were playing actually decently to start that game. Anthony Davis, almost like a non-contact injury, or I think it was a non-contact injury, and he's writhing in pain. And you're just like, oh no. Like this.
That's the 2 hands on the head type of feeling.
Yeah, like sick to your stomach, because it's like, this happens way too often. And we're just 1 game away, 1 win away.
Seriously.
Like, and you're going to be in like, when he was, I don't know, he was grimacing in pain for a while, I felt like, and I just thought for sure, like, we had lost him for the rest of the series, or at least for the next game. And I feel like that took the wind out of everybody. Like, we did not respond well. With that being said, though, we didn't let Miami distance themselves, other than them being up by, again, 11 or 13 or whatever it was. Every time it looked like they were going to, LeBron had such a good shooting night that he like kept us in it with his shooting. But I was like, man, it's going to be so fun to be like, when we're celebrating winning the finals, we're like, remember when we were down in this game by like 11 or 13, and we were going to be laughing about it. And so for people critique LeBron, last play of the game, drive into the basket or close to last play, and he kicks it out to Danny Green because, I don't know, the whole Miami team just collapses on him. So everyone's like, LeBron, why didn't you take that shot? And it's like, because his IQ is bigger than yours.
He's not open. Like, it's very clear.
The defense collapsed. And
sometimes people think he's like superhuman. They're like, why didn't you just
I know, right? It's like
through the defense. Like, wait, what?
To a degree, but like, my goodness. It's like, why didn't you take the shot? It's like he passed it to another professional basketball player who is actually known for being a shooter in his career.
Kind of wise on the team a little bit.
Yeah, making the right play is a little important.
Correct.
And Danny Green just,
I don't know what he did. Was it a pass? Was it a shot? I mean, do we know to this day? I think scientists are studying it.
I think he said like later on he rushed it.
For sure. Maybe it stuck to his fingers. We've all been there, but just
rushed it. Then we saw an opportunity because we got the offensive rebound, and then Markieff Morris just threw it away. I know he was looking for Davis. Davis, zagged when he should have zagged or something, and then the ball gets thrown away, and that's ball game. And the main thing, like, obviously super, super pissed that we lost because we just didn't play well. We didn't play like hungry. I don't know, it was weird, but I know the game changed when Anthony Davis went down and wasn't the same for the rest of that game.
It freaked everyone out, I think.
Absolutely. And so we just, we just didn't recover. But I was looking for that moment because I thought that was going to be the moment. I really believed like we were going to win it and we were going to be champions that night. And so, of course, being an extremist, when we lost, I like totally start thinking the other way. I'm like, this shit's going 7. Anthony Davis is hurt. We're fucked. This is going to game 7, and anything can happen, as we know, in game 7.
Well, no wonder you were mad.
When we played Boston, it was game 7, and that was way too much to handle because we were down most of the game. And if I recall correctly, I was actually sick with, the flu, I guess, because I was in a blanket. Voice was hoarse, feet hurt.
Dude, whenever you're in a blanket, I'm like, he's got the flu. You're never cold.
I know, yes.
Oh my God.
So luckily I was younger and spry, but I was able to, still take on all that duress that the Lakers put me through and didn't get any sicker from that. But
Oh, I was gonna just ask that too, because it was a physical toll. Okay, that's some losses we'll take on.
when we won, I did not feel sick at all. Actually, it was amazing. It was weird. I was like, they should turn that into a
prescription.
Prescription.
Totally. Describe me a Laker win.
On Sunday, and what's crazy is Anthony Davis, I guess got 6 hours of treatment to be able to play.
Jeez.
6 hours of treatment. And
like in a row?
Consecutively, I'm sure. Game 6, and we came out with the intensity of 1,000 burning suns, man. Like I felt like we were pissed the fuck off, and we came out and played like it.
We should have been.
Really, the game I felt like was never in doubt, and I felt like honestly it was over at halftime. So like by the time we won it, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, let's not downplay this. Like I was ecstatic and as much, but like it wasn't where like on Friday, if it was, because I was thinking to myself, would I rather have a really close game, but then have the outcome come out in my favor where we win and appreciate that more than we just go coast to coast and take their heart out and we're up by like 35 the whole game and it's basically over at halftime like it was. Like I'm like, which scenario did I like better? And it's like, because my reaction when we won was like, I mean, I knew we were going to win by halftime. So
right.
It was like,
like a surprise or a relief?
I would honestly like.
Wait, which scenario?
When it's unexpected and we win, I mean, that's an incredible feeling.
Wait, say that one more time because it's cutting out a little bit.
If Friday we would have won after not playing well and it was an unexpected result that I maybe didn't think was going to happen, it came down to the wire. I feel like I would have had that moment of just like, the word's not coming to me right now, but I feel like I'd have the war, like it'd just be pure bliss because I didn't know we were going to win it. We didn't play well. And then and we won it after all that. Like, I know Lakers fans were spoiled, but it's like after all we've been through, especially this year though,
right.
And like to win the championship, but instead I was more subdued, I guess, with Sunday's victory when we won. Cause it was over at halftime. So I was just kind of like, it wasn't really like the
the moment where you just
I mean, I definitely had it obviously because I think I talked to you guys for a little bit and you needed to feel it, but
you did.
So yeah, it's crazy. It got me thinking like, would I rather have that coast to coast victory to clinch a title where like, I know we won by halftime or even like midway through the second quarter, it almost felt like.
Yeah, and have no stress.
For my nerves.
Right.
Or would I rather have the game 5 scenario where we don't play that well, we battle back all the way to the end and somehow we come up on top and it's unexpected and that probably evokes more emotion after winning it, I would say.
Totally. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Some people would, I feel like most people might vote for if they, if we're talking about a win, that it would be like a close, good game. But I don't know, there's people that really do stress throughout the game. And so sometimes it is nice to just be like, oh man, we got this one. Like, I see it. We're good, So, But yeah, that's the beauty of sports though, is that back and forth, that good matchup, and then finally seeing your team win through those hardships and beat a good adversary. That's really like, oh, that's my favorite. One of my favorite things for sure.
And so with that, we're champions, man.
And it feels good. And now we're tied with Boston for championships, right?
We definitely are. So I don't want to hear it.
Right? Now they cannot say it. And we won't hear it.
Yeah. So we're champions. It's like all I've been doing this whole week is just been getting lost in content and articles and videos and
soak it up
and like what everyone's saying because like we're on top of the basketball world. And honestly, like LeBron James, it's like he sometimes I'll still watch and I'll be like, look at him in that Laker jersey, and I'm like, is this real?
Right. Same.
Like, are you really on the Lakers? He's just, the minute he signed with us, our franchise turned around. Don't forget, we were a hot ass mess. Like, I was almost pleading for the Bus family to sell the team because we were just a hot ass mess.
And now Jeannie Buss, isn't she like the first female owner to win a championship?
Female owner to win an NBA championship. So, and you know, I was wrong. I'm so happy she didn't sell the team. I was wrong. She is a really strong person and she's an incredible owner. And like, you know, her speech that she gave during the, you know, ceremony was just like super spot on. It was super good. And like, she just comes across like, honestly, like she heads one of the biggest brands ever created and she heads it. And like, but she also seems like she's just sweet and genuine. You know?
Yes, she really is. I saw an interview with her on a podcast with a comedian, and she was actually really funny. And she was trying to get like tips from him too on like how to be funny in her speeches, like little jokes here and there. But she was actually really cool and down to earth and really open and honest too. So I have respect for her in that way. You know, like, yeah, it was cool to just see her like let her guard down a little bit. And then, yeah, but she could still be very poised and when talking about the Lakers, and you could tell she's got a lot of love for the team and they have a lot of love for her. But I know a lot of Laker fans too, going back to LeBron, that I feel like, because it's so weird with LeBron, how, you know, Lakers used to really be our like rival, so to speak, or Kobe's rival even. And now he's on our team. So not every fan is really like super like 100% welcoming, you know, at first. Like it took LeBron, like, and I think LeBron knew that, and he might have even mentioned something about that in an interview. But yeah, now a lot of Laker fans are like, you know, I didn't want to buy his jersey, or I didn't know, or there's just some sort of resistance. And I feel like now he's proven himself to LA and to the fans in like, and solidifying his spot, because now everyone's like, I'm gonna buy a LeBron jersey, and you know, they've like come around, and it's just crazy. But
he won us a ring, and I mean, you know, Anthony did like the team and stuff, but it's LeBron, man.
He's definitely led it.
He's the best player in the world, and he has been for a while. And like, the minute he got here, we were viable. He like changed everything. We like were taken seriously. He's had to endure Magic Johnson just quitting on the spot and holding like this like impromptu presser and just like making us look, you know, and not even giving LeBron a heads up or anything like that. He's had to endure the whole China debacle where the Rockets GM made some comments and you know, some political comments with China and caused a stir, and they like basically shut all televised games of the NBA down. And we were out there for preseason to play the Rockets, canceled the games, or maybe the games were canceled, but they canceled some events. Like there was tons of money lost.
When was that?
That was at the beginning. I know it feels like years ago, but
yeah, it sounds somewhat familiar, but I don't remember like all those details.
Yeah, it feels like it was ages ago because this whole season feels like it was like 3 seasons in a one. But yeah, LeBron personally lost money. The NBA lost money. Like they went out there to China for like no reason, so to speak. I'll have to remember if they played or not. I mean, it's preseason, so who cares if not? But I just remember it was a debacle, and LeBron spoke his mind and got criticism there, and then just having to endure, you know, Kobe's tragedy and the pandemic, and where the Milwaukee Bucks protested a game. And so then that set the whole sports in a domino reaction where they protested games. And not to mention, to even rewind further back, is like when we thought we were getting Kawhi Leonard and he went to the Clippers, we lost out on a lot of free agents that we could have had. We had to make this team up by the fly. And so for people trashing Rob Pelinka, the Lakers GM, like we had to make this team up on the fly. And like, that's so hard to do. And like, so to make it up as you go and whatever's left over, so to speak, like this team went from not making the playoffs last year to being a new team and winning a championship.
And there's haters on that too, of how we built our team. I mean, you kind of mentioned it. I mean, probably toward Rob directly, but But yeah, about how we just don't draft talent anymore. We just trade or whatever, and we are building a super team. But that, I mean, so many other teams do that.
When's the last time we drafted talent? I would argue.
Huh?
When's
the last time?
Last time we drafted talent? Like that's kind of that we've been consistent in our brand. That's what we do. We're Los Angeles, right. Track stars. We sign stars. We trade for stars. Draft for stars. I mean, technically we didn't draft Kobe. We traded for him. So we've never really drafted talent, right, Molly?
Yeah, exactly. And who's to say this? So I'm sorry. The Rockets do this. They haven't won. I'm sorry. They don't do it right. The Clippers are now doing this where they're not drafting talent. They're trying to build a team off of free agency. Again, sorry, they can't do it right. Mm-hmm. It's pure hate because it's the Laker brand who made it work once again.
That's so true. I got to say, I heard that comment or that bitterness from a Celtics fan. So, there's reasons for that. But exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like everybody else gets to do it. And so
it's a problem.
Right. Yeah. But with Lakers, it's a problem. It's just always the way. But
always the way. But
nonetheless.
Another point.
Yeah. I'll give the Celtics their credit. The team that they have primarily is through drafts. And, kudos to them that they're making it work. But until they win a championship with that team, they can't really defend that what they're doing is better than what we're doing because at least we're winning a championship.
Listen, Boston boys who are always angry. I mean, I can kind of relate with you. Listen, Boston boys who are always angry. Like, I get you guys have won 17, and you'll say I'm discounting this, but you won in 08, and then it's like you won in the 80s and you won in the 60s, and I think you won one in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, because I think John Havlicek won you one over Phoenix. That was a great classics, gentlemanly series, but that was in the 70s, and you won in the 80s with Bird, you won in the 60s, and then you won in 08. You haven't really done shit. So, like, as far as lately, Lakers, we like to open new decades with winning a damn title. We in 2000 over the Pacers, 4-2. 2010, as I mentioned, we beat Boston. We beat.
Who was it?
Boston.
Oh, okay.
4-3. Yeah, it took us to 7, but we still won, and it was sweet. And we got to be part of that legacy. And now we won in 2020 over Miami. Now,
you're right. It's a decade thing.
Man, everyone got hurt. You didn't face teams fully, and that's not our fault. You could say that about every championship. Again, I keep referring to last year. Kawhi wouldn't have won if Klay Thompson didn't get hurt and Durant got hurt. Every championship run has its own story, and so
that's why they play the following year. And I gotta say, next season sounds pretty, like some pretty good matchups. It seems like a lot of like the West, I feel like are going to be very stacked with solid teams.
Always
it's going to be rough.
And, we can't even enjoy it long enough. Rondo is going to opt out of his contract and test free agency, see if he can get maybe more money somewhere.
What? Rondo?
Now it's like, well, we want a ring, so let's see if we can get.
I know, and everyone's going to leave. No, not everyone's going to leave, but
the Warriors are apparently interested in Dwight Howard.
They can't do that. See, I get detached to these players, and I just don't let them go.
When you win a ring with a player, you have that bond, and it's like even if they go to a different team, it's like they'll always be part of your championship heart,
For sure. You'll remember some play that they did in the finals, it's like they're going to stick with you.
Yeah.
Haters, man. Haters. And traders. Haters and traders.
Haters and traders. And we are champions.
Oh, hallelujah. Well, at least one good thing comes out of this year, So we're making progress, people. We're making progress.
Exactly. The Lakers give us that.
For real. Now, I read that because we have a big matchup coming up as the Vikings coming up against the Falcons.
By the way,
the Schmalkins. And the Schmalkins, I heard that they tested positive. Someone on their team tested positive for COVID. Did you hear about that?
I did. Yeah, it was reported, but I don't think it was as serious or something like that because we're playing.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say nothing seems moved though or changed.
Yeah. So we're playing. I thought like if anything, maybe we're to get moved to Monday night, but I think we're on, and it'll be interesting. Falcons just fired their coach Dan Quinn and fired their GM Thomas Dimitrov.
Whoa, when they do that this week?
They did that, actually on Sunday after Atlanta lost to. Oh my gosh, who did they just play?
Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, let me see.
Panthers.
Damn.
So Falcons lost to the Panthers.
Oh yeah, shit. I'm looking for. Damn, I was gonna say Panthers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Quinn, the head coach and the GM, Quinn and Dimitrov, get fired after they just lost to the Panthers, and they're now 0-5. And honestly, Atlanta's never been the same since they lost in the Super Bowl when they were leading 28-3 over the Patriots, and Tom Brady led his team all the way back. I mean, they were up 28-3 at halftime, and they lost the lead, went into overtime, and then lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's tough on any team. That whole situation.
Sorry, Falcon fans.
Sorry, Falcon fans.
You had to experience something like that because you messed me up in 1998. Very interesting. Hadn't missed a damn field goal all season.
Then you would have lost to the Broncos. So
no, I think we covered this last time. We're gonna win that season.
And the debate. This is a debate right now, guys. Who is it?
We were 15-1. We were the most prolific offense in NFL history up to that point, and we weren't.
Okay, some great points for Vikings.
2015, and Falcons probably weren't scared either.
That was several years ago. If our kicker would have made the kick, we would have had a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Do you think if you saw that kicker like at the grocery store, like Blair Walsh, like what would you do? Would you talk to him or no? Like I don't even know.
I don't think I would address it. They both had me in the fetal position for a good 2.5 days.
Oh damn! So you've got some
98, and then. So that was in 99 because it was the play. It was a 98 season, 99 playoffs. So I was in 5th grade. So even as a 5th grader, I was in a position.
You had a lot of feelings back then. That's okay. With sports.
Always been right there.
On the sleeve.
What blows is that every time we play Seattle and go up to Seattle, Dalvin Cook gets hurt.
Wait, he got hurt?
Dalvin Cook is now hurt.
Oh my god!
I know they're trying to downplay it, but he's hurt. And
forgot about this.
We lost in such it's so crazy because we lost in such Viking fashion this past week, and the Lakers had just won a championship. So then I was finishing up the Viking game, and we lose in such Viking fashion. It was 4th and 1. We had the ball because Alexander Mattison, our backup to Dalvin Cook, he's actually pretty damn good. I think he would start for some teams.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he's really good.
Oh,
and he
rushed,
Dalvin Cook goes down, he basically picks up the slack. And I'm not going to say, he's Dalvin Cook, but we don't miss too many beats on that. He picks up, pretty well where Dalvin leaves off. And it was 4th and 1. We could have opted to kick the field goal and go up 8 points, meaning the Seahawks would then get the ball back and need to go score a touchdown and convert a 2-point conversion. And it was 4th and 1. How the time was, we could either kick the field goal, or if we went for it on 4th and 1 and got the 1 yard, time was going to permit to let us run the clock. And so essentially we convert the 4th down, we win the game.
Right.
4th and 1, man. Madison's been getting chunk yardage on plays throughout the whole game.
Wait, what do you mean by chunk yardage? Not a lot of yards, or
chunks actually. So instead of getting stuffed at the line, it's it's 1st down, 1st and 10, hand off the ball to Madison, he gets 2 yards. Now it's 2nd and 8. Chunk yardage, you're
got it.
Chomping off 5 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry, something like that. Putting your 2nd and 3rd down in convenient downs to convert the 1st down.
Okay, gotcha.
And we all know, right? The Vikings do convert that 4th and 1. Everyone loves it. They're like, that's the best play call right there. Mike Zimmer nailed it. That's what you need to do there. But because they don't convert it, what was he thinking? Is that the right call? Why would you put the ball back in Russell Wilson's hands? we all know how it works. Like if he gets it, it's the best call. Because he doesn't, everyone wants to bring it into question. But at the end of the day, as fans, when it's 4th and 1 and we know the game is close, most of us root for our coach to go on a 4th and 1. We all know that.
Well, Zimmer got criticized for the decision pretty heavily because they're like, if you kick the field goal, then they're up 8, and at least like you don't lose the game. It doesn't put you in position to lose the game. It puts you in position to at least tie. But like, we've seen Zimmer. He's been conservative before, and so it's like, yeah, win the fucking game. Go like
right.
It's 1 yard, and so the Vikings, instead of kicking the field goal, I was with it. I was on board with the decision. Like
that'd be the decision I'd root for too. 1 yard.
We have Dalvin Cook. I think we get it. But again, Madison's no slouch. He would start for some teams. Mm-hmm. So it's 1 yard. We've been getting like Madison's been running good all night. Get 1 yard. 1 fucking yard. It's 1 yard.
What happened?
So we don't get it. We get stopped.
No,
Madison,
but like,
he would have bounced outside. He would have had it. He got tripped up basically as soon as he was trying to cut, and it didn't work. So Russell Wilson, of course, gets the ball, and Russell Wilson is probably the MVP of the league so far, and he's clutch as shit. He is clutch as shit. And so our defense has really played well all night in stopping him, to be honest with you. They've been averaging like so many points a game, like in the 30s, I would say, doing really well this season. And our defense was stopping them for the most part, slowing them down. So 2 things. Russell Wilson completes this 4th down and 10. 4th down and 10. We stop him. The game's over that way. 4th and 10, that's a hard 4th down to get. It's not 4th and inches. It's not 4th and 2, 4th and 10. And he throws this bomb to DK Metcalf, and our rookie, Cam Dantzler, just got lost in coverage, man. He got lost in coverage. They convert the 4th down. Now, because we're up like, what were we up? 5 or 6? I think we're up 6. Mm-hmm. So they still need a touchdown. It's not like they can win on a field goal.
Oh my gosh.
They drive down to like, I don't even know what it was. Say like the 7 or something, like the 8. And now it's 4th and goal. So here's your ball game for sure. It's like, here's another opportunity to win the game. Last play, he hits, once again, DK Metcalf. Anthony Harris was guarding him. The pass was just perfect enough. It was outside his long stretch to try to swat that ball away. And they win the game.
And the defense was.
And we lose in such Viking fucking fashion, man. It's crazy.
Well, at least we held our own against Russell Wilson, who is, one of the best out there, becoming a living legend, if not already. And then also, dude, I don't know if you could have handled one night with like the NBA finals, like Lakers winning and Vikings beating Seattle and Seattle. Like, I just feel like you would have lost your mind.
See, that was the problem with it. We just won a championship, and then the Vikings lose, and all of a sudden those sick feelings are coming up on me. And I'm like, wait, no. We won a championship.
I want to stay happy.
Like those negative feelings, they're always like that. They're powerful, man. And so what I just saw in typical Viking fashion, I was just kind of like super bitter, but it didn't last too long because honestly, it was like, now we're 1-4 and the season feels like it's slipping away. Dalvin Cook's hurt. And, but now we're playing a team that just lost their head coach and GM. So their players are on notice. So who knows how they're going to come in, and they may be not fired up, obviously, but they may be, walking on eggshells a little bit to try to like improve their standing as far as staying on the team long term.
Yeah, well, and their quarterback Matt Ryan was basically told that he doesn't have a future with the team after the season. Granted, those weren't the words, but when the owner was asked if Matt Ryan has a place on that team, I think he pretty much said, well, I don't make those decisions. We'll see what happens in the future. Like, he just lost all his confidence for the rest of the season now.
True.
Or Sorry, you know what? Or he's thinking, all right, here's my audition now for all these other teams. Let me show them what I still have so I can go join another team next year and beat this pity fool.
Yeah, and what that basically means is we don't know what team we're going to see.
Honestly, that's kind of scary.
We're playing at home. Like,
Okay.
That's another thing that doesn't get talked about is Atlanta's team for like the third year in a row, maybe even fourth, is decimated by injuries. My goodness.
That's tough. That's
tough,
the worst.
Man.
Yeah.
You don't have like your starters. You're like, it's
Who
like
you planned for.
So many starters. Like, I mean, yeah, it's kind of the GM's job and maybe the coach's job to put together a team that's the best players that they can find and next man up mentality or whatever the case. But truth of the matter is when your starters go down, you know.
Yeah, you're going to be scrambling and it just most likely you're going to call that your wash. I mean,
starters for a reason, you know. So when they go down, they're really good players and it's hard to replace that production. You know, I don't know. If you're good, you're good, I guess. And we'll see. God, going 1-5, I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to now root for like us to lose because the Bears keep winning. Packers are obviously undefeated and they look pretty good.
Yeah, they need to calm down a little bit. Okay, they need to just relax.
Go backpacking in Western Europe or something.
We know that's his dream. Live your dream, dude. So for WNBA off season, is there a lot of like trade moves that go on, sort of like with NBA? I'm sure.
Yeah, there definitely is. What sucks is I think two of our best players opted out to go to the women like to call it the wubble because, you know, bubble is boy bubble, wubble is women's bubble. So
sure. You know what?
For sure. But yeah, no, Christy Tolliver, our point guard, who also won a championship with Washington after she won a championship with us. She signed with Washington Mystics and won a championship with Elena Deladon, who's super good and shares my birthday. What up?
Oh, it's name dropping.
Yeah.
He always does it. Like Adam Sandler for my birthday.
But so anyway, she came back to us, but then she opted out. So I'll really be happy when our Derek Fisher coached Sparks get Christy Tolliver back. And
dang, I forgot he's the coach.
Because we're coming for you, Seattle.
And we're contenders, right? I mean, we're always legitimate contenders, you know.
Candace Parker. We have forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Obumake sisters.
Definitely wrong, but I forgive you.
One's named Nika, the other one's named is, I think, Cheney or something like that. I can't think right now. I think it's Cheney. She actually does a really good job broadcasting, like a really good job broadcasting. She's like been a studio analyst for NBA and like does some contribution to like 710 ESPLA.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway, they're twins, and so
I was gonna ask. Okay.
Yeah, and
do they play the same positions in the same teams? Or you said, or this is on Sparks, right?
Yeah, they're on the Sparks.
Okay, perfect.
They used to not be though. I think we traded her. She was with Connecticut Sun, I think.
Oh, okay.
I forget who she was with, but Connecticut, yeah. And so it was really exciting. She was traded us like 2 seasons ago, maybe, but she opted out as well. So we didn't have her. We just had her twin, Nika, who's probably the more skilled player. But Cheney's still pretty good.
And what positions do they play? Do you remember? Or are there positions anymore, Jake?
Basketball's positionless. It is. It is.
It was so position oriented when I played.
Wings and bigs.
Oh, like shooters and bigs, yeah.
I said that to somebody the other day, and they're like, "Well, what about point guards?" And it's like, "Well, yeah, I mean."
So yeah, we still expect point guards to shoot threes, and now we kind of expect the bigs to shoot threes, or we're like, that's what we look for, a big that can shoot three. When you're looking for a big.
A lot of like the big guys. When I started watching basketball in the 90s, like there's a lot of niche players that were in the game because they played really good defense. You don't have too many of those anymore. Like, especially as a big guy, like if you're going to be on the floor, you have to be able to stretch out the floor and shoot.
So what do you mean niche? Like someone who's just specifically a post player and dominates the post?
Like someone who comes to mind, Dale Davis. He wasn't really a good shooter. He was a decent rebounder and good defender and like kind of did the dirty work, so to speak.
Okay.
And he was just like, that's one thing too. And I don't know, probably because I'm older, I know like watching the NBA and just kind of sports in general when I was younger, like these guys really look like men, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so Dale Davis, like he was a man. Like,
a manly man, like a burly man.
There were those like specific niche players who had a specific role to kind of muck up the game a little bit.
Got it. Okay. And now you don't see that. Do you have a preference? Like, do you miss that type of style? Or are you happy with like this style, or do you kind of not care and have no preference?
If I didn't, yeah, I mean, I miss it to a point of, I just miss the way, like kind of being a kid and the way I used to watch basketball. And it was new to me and I was learning it. And it was just so like, it was, I don't know. I can't really explain it. It was just.
That's just nostalgic for you, that like
old something new. And it was just incredible. And so I miss it in that regard. Cause some of the players, like if I start naming like 90s players, I'll start talking forever. Cause it's like, I love like being able to think back on like names and what I thought and everything like that. Now that I'm older watching basketball, you appreciate guys who are more skilled for sure. You know, I miss the rivalries though.
Me too. I love that stuff. I love like, just like the build up, the rivalries and how they took that so seriously. I remember that documentary on Celtics and Lakers. Just even now, the retired players, what they say about the other teams is bizarre. Who was it in that one documentary? I think you mentioned it to me. One of them said basically if like the other team like were desperate for water and I had water, I wouldn't give them a sip or something crazy.
That was way worse than that. I think it was Cedric Maxey, that punk ass. He said if he saw a Laker on fire and he was drinking a glass and he had a cup of water in his hand, he would drink it or something like that. He would rather drink
that is worse. Oh my gosh. So that's the thing I miss. I miss the hostility and the blatant.
Remember Lakers Kings?
Yes, dude. That was one of my favorites too. Where's the tension? There's no tension anymore. I felt like a lot of that tension was like preseason. Like we had a rowdy preseason that one year. You know the year. I don't remember the year, but you know the year. Where it just got wild. It was a bunch of like fights and it was all preseason. That's what's funny.
Yeah, no, because that was Rick Fox, Doug Christie fight.
Yes, crazy. One of my faves.
Yeah, I don't know, guys know each other. Like I think with AAU and like tournaments and like all the different clubs and everything, guys know each other a lot more. And then there's just so much money now. Like guys, like role players get paid like the way superstars used to get paid. And so therefore like there's not a lot of scrappiness to like everyone's going to get theirs,
right.
You know? And so I don't know. For me, in my opinion, I feel like it takes away some of the scrappiness.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like when I grew up learning basketball and a lot from you, it's like we didn't focus on like fouls and making sure every foul got called. Like, I don't know, the way I like thought of it was that's just like kind of shows weakness. Like you take your foul and you move on and maybe you foul them next play. And, it's like that sort of, and then utilize the fact that it's a contact sport. And if that team is able to get away with that type of contact, then so are you. And let's make that part of the game. But like, I don't know. I really do hate, and I know like Lakers is really at fault with it and LeBron specifically, but I do hate sometimes when they just like bitch to the ref about like that a call was not called instead of just like getting back to defense.
Oh, dude, 1,000%. Like, 1,000%. And yeah, it's not like LeBron's definitely, not immune to it. He's part of it. And it's like where you can't be fouled on every play. There's sometimes you do just miss. And again, not just everybody. It's like you missed.
Yeah. The shot didn't go in. You get back on defense and fix it.
Like you missed a layup. I know. It sucks.
It sucks so hard to miss a layup.
Yeah,
I gotta be honest.
If you miss a wide open layup too, like it does suck. It's a feeling of, or whatever the case, or making a shot you should have made, or like, what I was saying? Like one of the things that like almost pretty much embarrasses me is like when I get the ball stolen from me.
Bro.
And we've all been there and it's a part of the game. But like for whatever reason, like more than missing, say, a wide open lane or missing a lane, or more than like missing a free throw or like turning the ball over, even though, getting the ball stolen from you is a turnover. But when someone steals the ball from me, I feel like it's so personal.
Especially when it's just like clean, like they didn't foul. It was just a very clean steal. You're like... Well, it's so funny too. Actually, Darshawn and I were just talking about this because we watched one of the games in the series where someone missed a like wide open layup, and we were both saying like, "Oh, that sucks to do." And then I was like, "But what's worse, like missing a wide open layup or getting blocked hard, like blocked, where it's loud and it's embarrassing?"
That's the other thing I was going to compare it to. Yeah, because getting your ass packed is like is a feeling of like, but a lot of the times. Most of the time, you'll get packed by somebody who's bigger than you, like by the center or whatever. And so don't you kind of just like shrug it off like, well, yeah, you're fucking huge. Like,
depending on how
come
huge.
up for a shot with you. And you obviously read it and played it well because you're a freaking tree in a basketball jersey. And,
Get out of here, tree.
Yeah. Man, getting the ball stolen from me, I don't know.
That's your worst.
Just because like I used to like to think I had some handles back in the day.
Yeah, see, I don't feel I have handles. So maybe that's why it's not as, I mean, it sucks, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's not as bad as like getting blocked or missing a lane.
Okay, yeah. I mean.
But I feel you, so it's crazy. Do you have like a memory of like someone stealing the ball where you just can't let it go? In your basketball career, for those of you who don't know, Jacob was a pristine basketball player, but actually for real, he was really, really good, like one of the best. But continue.
Yeah, there were like I always refer to this little guy. We used to play this team called I don't know, it's Kootenai High School, and this guy named Tony Crack.
Oh my god! Wait, what?
RAA, I think CK. But maybe it was just another K minus the C. Anyway, he was one of the hardest people for me to guard because he was smaller than me. He was really quick and he was really skilled. He could dribble. Like, in fact, he could kind of embarrass you. Like trying to guard him was trying to like hold water in the palm of your hand.
Oh,
like,
you sound so speedy.
Like he was the type where it's like, you better be on your shit or he's going to break your ankles and he's going to embarrass you. Like he was just quick and he'd been down low and everything. Anyway, I think he stole it from me. And I just remember like he stole it from me, but again, wasn't into dirty plays or anything like that. But like, I'm someone like, you don't get a free lay-in on me.
Right.
So you've got to earn it.
No way.
And so like, I remember sprinting as fast as I could, just
boy, doesn't that get your adrenaline going too? And like someone makes you feel embarrassed.
Yeah,
like,
it was just matched with like, you little shit.
Yeah, it's like not you, anyone but you.
So
Tony Crack.
Yeah, like the problem was sometimes people take exception to that, and is it a hard foul? Yes. Is it a dirty foul? No. But some people would still like mistakenly mistake a hard foul for a dirty foul, and so then it starts some stuff. And
for those people who don't know, how would you describe a hard foul versus a dirty foul? Because maybe some people don't know the distinction. Although, I mean, if you're playing basketball, you'll know. I feel.
Yeah, no. A hard foul is you're going for the ball and you're making a clean play on the ball, but you're also going with the intent to not let the person score.
Yeah.
So for instance, I would foul them, but then like if like it was a little too much to a degree where my momentum, and I say that momentum wise, if like my momentum took my foul into the player and we were falling, I would do my best to like hold the guy up,
Okay.
Dirty foul is when I go up for a lane and you undercut me and you take my legs out from underneath me. That's, as you know, as a basketball player,
not cool.
the most dangerous thing you can do in basketball.
Isn't that what happened to you that one game we ran onto the court? By we, I mean
yeah,
Dad.
That was crazy. That was on a pass because I was someone that was froggy. I like to jump past, so like I could decide in the air somehow. Like, do I want to like pass to you over here in the right, you in the left?
What a lovely ability you have! I can't do that in the air.
Double clutch it,
Dang.
But yeah, that was on a pass, and I got undercut and like was like vertical. like coming down. And
yeah, you like
luckily,
started horizontal and were vertical, or maybe vice versa. I don't know. You did some different angle by the end of it.
It was kind of like when I would take waves at the beach when we'd all go. And I was always getting in the rip or the curl of the wave because I liked the way it tossed me around. And there was always those couple times that would make us laugh, is like you guys would be swimming or whatever, and I would take a wave and I'd be like, all of a sudden you just see my like legs come out, like flip over or whatever. And so I'd like do a damn handstand while taking a wave. And so I feel like
dude, we thought you did that on purpose, by the way. I remember I was like, that's funny. You're like, what do you mean? I was rolling around. You were like, oh, we saw your legs. You're like, I was rolling. You're like, yeah, I did do a front flip. Oh man.
Yeah, that's what it was like. I felt like I was doing a handstand while taking a wave, but getting undercut on a basketball court. And luckily that looked a lot worse than what it was.
And sounded. It was a loud sound. Big tree fall hard, you know?
Well, also a dirty foul too is like when you wind up and you don't like, you go and like try to slap, you're trying to like slap something, but you end up like just like kind of recklessly whacking, you know, you hit in the face because you wind up like, I'm going to knock your shit off.
Yeah, when they're like not even close to the ball at all, and it's like very obvious. Now, sometimes it's not that obvious, and you don't, or at least like in my experience, and you don't really know, like when it's kind of like writing that line between, it's like you don't really know until afterward if they help you up or if they shake your hand or if they give you a glare, if they stand over you, like you can.
That's such a good point.
You're like,
that's such a good point because like I know like trying to steal the ball at times, like I've hit people in the face and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, are you okay? And like, yeah, that can totally de-escalate.
Exactly, because sometimes the accidents do happen. You are trying to go for the ball. You didn't expect this person to move their head in front of it, or like whatever the case. Or again, momentum really has a factor. But yeah, so sometimes you don't know or can't gauge until afterward. How is that person acting toward you? Are they being a douche or are they being respectful?
Exactly. Now, the last time I played basketball at the Y, another hard foul or another dirty play is. This guy went to set a screen on me and he sent like a hard screen with his shoulder. And I was like, okay, that's your one chance. Like, you know, you're flirting with it.
Yeah. Give you the benefit of
the doubt. So I sent a hard screen on him when we had the ball next possession. And then it wasn't the next possession, but the possession before when I was on defense. He went to set a screen and he launched his shoulder into me. Like, jeez. You know, so if you launch while setting a screen, like that's just dirty, obviously, too. And that gets you a forearm in your neck.
Oh, shoot. This took a turn.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. Wait, so how'd you do that? Like, did you wait for the next play or you just forearm went to neck afterward after he did that?
Yeah, he launched and I full on grabbed him, brought him close while I swung my forearm and it hit him in the neck. And then he had the, like, you know, of course, the audacity to be like, look at the ref, like, what did I do?
Oh, my gosh.
Like, what did I do?
Playing the part.
Catch the person that reacts, so, damn.
Right, and they play into it.
I played a lot of tournaments and played a lot of, like, you know, AAU basketball and stuff like that. And so,
you've coached and you've been on that other side, too.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a whole other perspective, you know, I don't even really know about.
You can take the coach out of the player, but you can't take the player out of the coach, or you know.
No, yeah, that sounds right. I bought it. By that, do you mean every time you coached, you kind of wanted to play? School those fifth graders, or are they fifth graders? Oh, you can't.
As we know, Kayla's a film major. That means that she majorly loves film.
That's not minor, people. Major. Okay.
Captain Major. So I was going to say the 5 best Halloween movies, you know, because 'tis the season of beautiful black cats and white privileged skeletons. Just kidding.
They think they're all that with their skinny bodies.
Ghosts and goblins and ghouls. So I was going to say 5 best Halloween movies. are.
Best Halloween movies. I would say Hocus Pocus is a classic.
Is that one? Or is this a no?
Oh, this is in no particular order. Well, there would be, I couldn't do it.
Like, what do you think? Why do you think Hocus Pocus sticks?
Hocus Pocus, man, it's funny but it's not corny, but it's family friendly. It's got just an amazing cast with Bette Midler, and like she sings, which is awesome. Great song. I love that song. It's
nailed it with the cast.
Yeah, totally. The cast, again, they knew how to act, which sometimes family friendly movies, like it's easy to be corny, and that one just sticks. And then I'm biased though, because I watched it as a kid, so I'm always going to have that nostalgic connection to it. So the Hocus Pocus is great for the whole family. Getting away from the whole family is just straight scary movies. You're going to want to watch some of those. I love all types of scary movies, but one of my favorites is slasher films. I don't know why. I know they're predictable. I know what's going to happen. I can spot it a mile away, but there's something just fun about the whole trope. Yeah, it's got a good energy. It's lively. It's not, slow. And so one of my favorite slashers, of course, is Halloween. By John Carpenter. It's beautifully directed for a slasher film, so it adds this crazy element where it's just like
the original one, right? The
original one from the 70s. I don't quote me on the year, but yeah, in the 70s, it's just beautifully shot with this like eeriness, this like one first perspective eeriness. I love it. I love it so much. The framing's awesome. It's great. And then it's scary. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis. I love her. It's just a classic.
When you say like older, I don't know, older movies tend to like, since they're older, and it's like, oh man, it's old and kind of weird,
Yeah. And maybe, exactly. Yeah. You kind of, I would say you do have to appreciate just film and where, and its era, where it was at that time. And that's what I say for The Exorcist too, which maybe I'll throw that in as well. The Exorcist, I really love that movie, but this new generation will not get it. And it's not their fault. It's just effects are different now, and what they're used to is different, and they're used to more stimulation, more advances in technology of film. So this seems a little archaic to them probably, but it is such a good movie, especially for its time. I mean, it was just light years ahead of its time, as they say in Friends. I just quote Friends all day. But yeah, so that's a great movie though. The Exorcist. It's crazy. Yeah, and then Scream's one of my favorite. That's a slasher film. They're actually going to make a fifth one, which I'm always like, they really shouldn't be doing that, but then they always bring back the original cast, so I at least have to watch it.
Was that Mask, was that always up in Target or those kind of stores like a Walmart or whatever? Were those was that part of like kind of just the typical like catalog of masks that would always come out every year, or was that created for Scream?
I think from my understanding, it was created for Scream, but they do trick you because in Scream, they treat it as one of those type of masks within the storyline. So it does. I've always kind of thought that too. I'm like, is that like in a gas station? Or was that always like just accessible? But I think they just portrayed it like that. But dude, speaking of those type of masks, do you remember your old man mask that didn't have? Oh my God.
That was freaky.
Dude, what happened to that? That was the weirdest mask I've ever seen in my life. Do you think it was like Albert Einstein though, without the jaw? Because there's no jaw, remember? That's what made it weird.
Yeah, it was my jaw.
It was your jaw. You just bought it and just terrorized us, the family.
I know. I really like Mask.
They're fun, but what happened to that? Do you still have it?
I do not know.
Oh.
I do not know. Molly doesn't like clowns.
Oh no, this isn't a clown, but it's just it just has no jaw.
Molly doesn't like spiders.
No spiders, no clowns. Do you kill all the spiders?
Well, okay. There's this spider. Did we tell you about it? There's this huge ass spider. He's like basically a tarantula. Like he's this big ass creepy spider, and he like creates this beautiful architectural web that just takes place in our entrance. And
in your entrance, damn.
Yeah, but it's like high enough where he's fine. And like I've destroyed his web a few times, forced to destroyed his web because I'm like, listen, not only is this his environment too, and he's allowed to, make a home, he makes for a really, really good Halloween decoration that we don't have to buy.
That's
and
so
I
true.
quite enjoy it.
And it's authentic.
Super dramatic.
Chill. Look, we made a deal. If I don't see the spider, I don't see the bug, and he does, as long as I'm not aware of it, it can stay. As soon as I'm aware of it, because we made this deal, as soon as I'm aware of it, that shit's got to go. It doesn't have to die. You can pick it up and put it somewhere else.
Yeah, that's not why you're asking me constantly to kill the spider.
This one's different. This one, he literally, we'll go take it down tonight, and then tomorrow the web will be 10 times bigger.
Oh, dang. That's a statement at that point in spider talk.
It is like the fuck. Okay, Mom, tell us this one. What's the place in Rome? What's the Rome place?
Colosseum?
No, like where the Pope lives.
Oh, Vatican?
Yes. It is the Vatican
of spiderwebs.
Of spiderwebs.
It is a cool spiderweb.
Is the Vatican full of spiderwebs? Oh, just in general? Like a building?
It's like Taj Mahal. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
It's
like there's spiders everywhere. Yeah. And he catches all the flies for you.
I'm mesmerized by how they can build that shit. I'm like, that is so cool.
So quick.
And he does it so quick. And it just really looks cool.
He just needs to move. He just needs to move. He doesn't need to die, but he needs to move onto another entrance that's not ours.
Well, you heard it here, Spider. Let's see how it's your move. Your move. Oh, man.
As long as you're not too big, look, spiders, you can live here. If you're climbing up the wall and I can see you, and then it's like, I just hate killing shit. I don't know.
I know. Same. Yeah. As long as it's not in my way, but I walk into spider webs a lot. It sucks.
Yeah, that's the worst too. Like when you run into a spider web.
It's a weird feeling. It's like a little bit of panic and like disgust and then confusion. Did I name 5? Oh yeah, I did.
Scream.
I can't name just 5 because then there's also so going back to scary movies, then there's just like all my favorite scary movies basically. The Ring, The Shining, Blair Witch Project, Cape Fear. That's a great one. Actually, I haven't watched that one in a while. That should be one. Joyride, House of Wax, and yeah, I'll defend Joyride. No one else agrees, but that's okay. And House of Wax is really good, actually.
I couldn't finish it. It's too creepy.
There's something about House of Wax that I really enjoy.
Right? It's weird. Something's going on there that I like. But what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. Like Hocus Pocus is my number 1.
Agreed. Oh, Hotel Transylvania. You like that one a lot. That could be. That's a great one.
So good. I love Adam Sandler so much. I don't ever want to hear people be like, "So Adam Sandler," but like, I don't care. Like, he told me.
It's my birthday. Mick Jagger.
Is and that's what it's about. I really like. I would throw the Addams Family in there.
Okay, I've never seen that full movie. I should watch it. Is it good?
Yeah, especially the first one.
Okay.
Second one isn't as good. Still worth a watch because it has Joan Cusack as like the.
Oh, yes, I remember her. She was very pale in that movie. Freaked me out.
Underrated. The range that she can do for movies is insane.
Yeah, I'm a big Joan Cusack fan.
Same.
I love her in 9 months.
I love her in 9 months too. Shameless, she does a great job in Shameless. I think Molly watches that show. She'll attest to that. Oh, also Beetlejuice has got to be. Oh, and Practical Magic. That's my favorite. Okay.
Watch that. And you know what? I was like, this movie's not very good.
It's weird. It's weird.
Like it.
And that's what Molly was saying. She likes its weirdness.
I like it as well. I like the weirdness as well.
You really don't.
You don't. You don't like that. Have you ever? You've never liked it?
He didn't like that it took an hour for Beetlejuice to get into the movie, and that Beetlejuice realistically probably only has about 20 minutes of the movie that's about him. It really bothered him.
Yeah. I was like, where the hell's Beetlejuice? It's an hour into the movie. Where the hell is Beetlejuice? And why do you spell it weird? in the movie, but then spell it like the right way for the title.
Beetle breakfast. Okay. Beetlejuice. Beetle breakfast. I like when she guesses. But I wasn't allowed to watch that movie at one point because I watched it so much. And that was just odd. It's just an odd thing, but it was annoying people, and I get it. But damn, I watched it a lot. I will say. So to everyone's defense.
Yeah.
But damn, that was tough. But yeah, Practical Magic. Actually, Practical Magic is my number one over Hocus Pocus, over all of them. I love that movie.
Have you ever seen that?
No, never even heard of it, I don't think.
Oh, okay. It's with Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock, right?
Really?
Yes, Molly would love it. Molly would love it.
No.
It depends on the song.
You know, he likes his movies like Crank, High Voltage, and Little Monsters, so.
Oh, Little Monsters is good.
Oh, stop.
That's true. I do like that movie too. Wait, what's Crank and High Voltage?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to know.
Oh my God. Crank High Voltage 2 is sweet. It's like you're watching a video game. It's tight.
Is that one movie or?
Yeah.
Crank High Voltage? That's all one movie? Or those are two separate movies?
Yeah, it's Crank. Because there was the first Crank.
What is this?
And then the second Crank, High Voltage. It's with Jason Statham.
Oh, okay.
Fucking sweet. It's like off a video game. The first time I watched it with Molly, and she was like, "What is this? This is the worst movie I've ever seen." Like blah 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 blah. And so we watched it again, and she's all being super judgy on it and being like, "Oh my God, this movie, blah blah blah." By the end of it, what did you say? What did you say?
Anor Johnny Bango.
What did you say?
Well, listen. He never prefaced in the first movie that it's supposed to mimic what a video game is as a movie. So I didn't know this was supposed to be a video game-like movie.
Even if you didn't know it was based off a video game on its own, it's still a good movie.
Look, it depends on how you define the terms good movie. This movie's not bad. The humor is different. If you like action, if you like stupid action movies, and I use stupid like because it's not like action adventures. Like we're talking like I almost feel like they make fun of action movies. That's what I mean by like stupid action.
Kayla likes that.
I like parodies a lot, actually.
Really good one-liners. I'll give it that. Really good one-liners.
Yeah.
Interesting. I will be honest. I'm like action movies don't always get me, but when they do, like they're like I do love them. I like the ones I love. I really love. But Jason Statham, I'll be honest, all his movies look the same to me, and they look a little. I don't know. Like
usually that's him being like kind of the tough guy, like not a superhero, obviously, but like the macho guy and everything.
But he seems real quiet. Is he real quiet in the movies?
No, he's so funny. Like, he's the macho guy, but he's funny. And he's got like a British accent to go with it, which makes it even funnier. Since we have the same humor, I am confident that you'll find this movie. You won't hate it. I'll say that.
Okay. You may not enjoy it though either.
What?
This is a risky business I'm doing.
Watch it with Jay. And actually, first of all, just ask Jay, be like, now tell me you haven't seen Crank High Voltage and see what he says. Okay.
I'll ask. He's going to be like, no.
I bet he will be like.
He'll at least hear of it, I'm sure. Because he likes action movies. Now, again, me, I'm more horror film and comedy specifically. Of course, drama is just a given. That's a vague term, but outside of that, yeah, comedy and horror. Jacob, your underrated player of the week, the person that is not getting the credit that they are due, who is not being talked about in the way they should be talked about. Who you got?
This week, it's Contavious Caldwell-Pope, and I feel like, as a Laker fan and watching every single Laker game, for the past handful of years, and especially since KCP has been on our team, he went from someone that I was kind of like, yeah, dude, you're just another guy. You're just all right. Like you're a role player, blah, blah, blah. I never thought especially like being a starter after we lost Avery Bradley because he opted out, I never thought he could slide into that role and all of a sudden turn himself into a role player, a significant role player in Laker lore, Laker history. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know he could become like a Rick Fox, a Robert Ory, a Derek Fisher, a Brian Shaw, Horace Grant, you know, and you know, Trevor Ariza and all those guys. Like, he really showed me as a starter, like, he stepped up, man. And I don't think he's being talked about. I don't think his role and his contributions being talked about enough about how solid he is as a defender and how good of a Western Conference Finals against Denver and a good finals he had against Miami. I just think like he definitely deserves a lot more spotlight for what he brought in helping us win the NBA title.
I love that. KCP. So hopefully he's here to stay.
He opted out, was going to test free agency as well.
Oh, okay. That's just...
But he will always go down.
He made his mark. Molly, do you have an underrated player?
I do. I'm going to stick with the Lakers theme. And, you know, Jake, I'm not going to disagree with you. I just think you missed the mark with your underrated Laker, even though I've been talking about this guy for a while. And let me preface that when he first joined our team, I could not stand him. But I'm going to throw my underrated player to Alex Caruso, a.k.a. the Caruso, my new favorite nickname, and probably one of my new favorite Lakers. He is not the sexiest Laker, especially on offense when it comes to his game, but the effort that he will give when he is on that court, especially defensively for the size that he is compared to other players, it's just the game that he gives us every single time he steps on that court. I have confidence in him. He will drive to the basket. It doesn't matter who is there in the paint. He is going to always give all his effort. He's not our best scorer. He's not even our best defender, but the effort he puts on that floor doesn't compare to anyone else on our team outside of LeBron. I think every single time we have Caruso on the court, we are going to get 110% of him, no matter who's defending him, no matter what shot he has to take. And that doesn't mean he's going to make it, but the effort that he gives to us, he, in my opinion, throughout the playoffs, was our best player coming off the bench defensively. I cannot speak offensively because that's not the role that he is on our team to fill. That's not why we bring him off the bench. We bring him off the bench for that effort and that defensive playing that he can give us. And that's exactly what he did. He did it against Denver and he did it against the Heat, which is why he got to start in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Man, good for you, Caruso. You got a new fan.
Throughout the playoffs, and you could argue he had a bigger role in what we accomplished than Kuzma.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I love Kuzma.
What I know.
But I agree with you.
Can't argue with Caruso. So he's a great role player for us. And wow, what a story too, right? To like be in the developmental league and to, you know, make our team off summer league play. Yes. And to come kind of out of nowhere and develop and be the player that he is now, and now he's champion. So can't argue with that.
Totally. Yeah, they were both pivotal to our win for sure, and there's no denying that. Now, Jacob, let's move on to your fantasy flavors of the week. Who you got? Who should we be aware of as fantasy football players?
I think I'm trying to think who comes to mind because I had to repair my team. If anyone saw poor Dak Prescott go down, that was a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, just poor guy. Thought like you could tell after that play that was gruesome to watch. He like literally stomped like his foot because he was confused on what happened, and I think he was probably in shock. He like literally he had a compound fracture, right? Yeah, compound fracture, and he was like didn't understand it and was like trying to like put his foot that was dangling back in his leg, because he didn't understand it. And then just to see his tears. Did you see the highlights?
I did not. For all of these adjectives you're saying now, I just don't know if I'm ready for it. I'll watch it at some point, but it's so sad when you see someone get injured in sports, regardless of what team they're on. Honestly, that's when all the team the whole rivalry thing drops, and you're just concerned about this injured athlete. It's human well-being. Exactly.
And you felt bad for Dak because, you know, he was crying, obviously not pain because he try to put his leg back together on his own, but like just crying because he knew he was out for the season. And he's such a good guy. He really is. We're both like huge Dak Prescott fans. And so wishing him all the love and best because he's a good guy. And so
his compound fracture was in his foot or like ankle or
his ankle.
Yeah.
Dang.
And anyway, he was my starting quarterback in our league. And he will not be playing anymore. So I kind of had to rebuild my team. So I'm trying to think. The best waiver wire pickup, honestly, would probably be Alexander Madison, because on the Vikings, Dalvin Cook goes down. So you can kind of vulture a player there, because usually if you have Dalvin Cook, you're like, damn, now I need to go get Madison because one of my main players is down.
Right.
And Madison, again, what could start on other teams. And this is a good time. It's known as a vulture. So you come in and it's like, oh, I'm higher on the waiver wire than you. And you come in and you snag Madison to basically bring down the team that has Dalvin Cook, because it's like you just vultured one of their players. Because now Madison's going to get those carries. Madison's going to get those projections. Madison's going to get the reps. And so, but yeah, I would say Madison's the flavor of the week, because you can get a vulture and you can get a stud player, even if it's just temporary.
For sure. And that sounds like a great pick. And my bias will show that it's a Vikings player. So a great pick, I'll emphasize.
Or give us an actor.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Give us an actor that like you would say qualifies as underrated, someone that just delivers all the time, but like for whatever reason doesn't quite get talked about as some of their counterparts.
Yeah, I would say, coming off the top of my head, and this goes very well with Halloween season because she's in a lot of horror shows. She's getting props and she's got a good following, but it's a very niche audience. And I feel like this actress has the talent to be very mainstream, win Oscars. I mean, do the damn thing, be big. And it's Sarah Paulson. She plays in American Horror Story. She was in a small role with Sandra Bullock in Bird Box. And then she was also in the remake of Ocean's 11. But that didn't really show her range at all. Bird Box kind of did. I mean, she was in it for like a second, but killed it. But she just is, I mean, she commits and is just like, her acting is just profound. So yeah, I think she should be talked about with a lot of other actors. I mean, she can go toe to toe with anyone is what I'm saying.
Dang. So she's probably someone that's gonna have a nice run and like some of the, well, if she wants to do mainstream movies type of thing, like she might.
Right, and she might not want to do that.
A lot of the like upcoming films coming up.
Totally, yeah, and she might like where she's at, and it's a good spot to be in. She definitely has success, and she does get her props, but I just think she could get more and should get more. Yeah, she's just constantly impressing me with her acting skills. I love it. I'm so glad she's part of my favorite show too. I get to watch her all the time. It's great. So we will be back next week to talk about these matchups in NFL and more sports news.
Yeah, and more just development overall. We'll, really start kind of pinpointing our segments and getting creative with them, because we have imaginations and we know how to do that. So
yeah.
And so we'll be putting those together too, and we'll have fun little games and everything. And so this is all just working development and unwalked territory. So we're just carving our own little trail there.
Yes. Well, thanks everyone for going along for the ride with us, and we'll be back. We want to continue to have fun, talk sports, and be in this together. So
Sports nuts.
Sports nuts signing off. Bye, everyone.